you know. What's up, y'all? It's Gigio. You know what I'm saying? I just hopped off this Rock Ridge BART station. You know, just got out of work. Had to make my way out here. Just give y'all this new episode of Rebels and Poets, man. You know what I mean? You know, it's a grind. It's a grisly grind, man. But you know, I think that's what separates the men from the boys, the poets from the overnight, you know what I'm saying, overnight wiener schnitzel wannabes. I don't know, I'm just kidding. I don't know, man, you know what I'm saying? But something I was thinking about was this, I wanted to share. You know, it's easy to write a song. It's easy to write songs about diamonds and clothing and clubs and lights and pretty girls and you know what I mean, and cars, nice fancy cars and shit, you know, because that shit it's appealing, it's cool, you know, it's pretty, it's easy to make that kind of music sound pretty. But what's really hard is to be able to write under circumstances of, you know, strife, to be making art out of muck and dirt and blood and sweat, and you know, to tell stories of hardship, tell these blue collar rebel renegade stories, you know what I'm saying? Shit is straight from the sewer. Now it's hard to write beautiful poetry and music about that kind of shit, but we do it, and that's what separates, you know what I'm saying, the poets from the prophets, or the prophets from the poets, from the rappers, from the fools who just rap, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we're doing this Rebels and Poets shit, man, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody who I showcase on here, they, you know, we real survivors, real life survivor type individuals, you know what I'm saying, who live and die for this art, and for this music, and for this life, and for what we believe in, you know what I mean? And shit, y'all, it's gonna be another dope one. You already know what it is. God bless. Peace. What it do?
What's up? Rebels and Poets TV. That's all key. Jaymar.
Finally did it. Finally did it.
Finally did it. Yep.
I mean, this is an important episode for me because you know, obviously you're the big homie. We go back, and even the song Rebels and Poets that me and Goulet, the lead band, did. You know, you're the producer behind that, man.
Yeah, that was dope. That was dope, man. That was a little trek in itself, man. I came out, visited the homie Gigio. He was living in SF. Actually living with Goulet. And just went out there to have some fun. Ended up making some beats at like 2 in the morning, drunk as hell. off some headphones because everybody was sleeping except me, Gigio, and Goulet. They was actually writing with the lights off, and I was making the beats with the light off. Yeah, that was a good time though. It was actually
Like 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, that was a
damn
while
near.
ago. That was a while ago, man.
Shit, man, you know, it's been a minute, you know. A.K.A, Jaymar, you know what I'm saying? Where you been? Like the song, where I been, where you been, man?
Shit, man. 2013, man. It's been a little trek. I'm down in LA right now. Getting on my personal life shit.
It's all good.
Growing and stuff. But it's all good. Like still keeping up with the fam and the bag. Trying to be on the music shit too.
So what's up, man? I mean, just to give them a background on you, you know, you are a hip hop artist. You know, you produce.
Definitely.
You have a background in DJing.
Yeah.
And you rap. In what order do you see yourself? Like, how does that all play out, and what's most important, you know, for you? Which element is most important for you?
Yeah, that's honestly, I mean, I started out emulating just people that I was hearing for sure. So I started out with rapping, just copying people that I liked. Back in the school bus, man, actually.
In Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah, Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is my hometown. I was born in Fremont, but grew up in Santa Cruz since I was like 7 years old. And honestly, just started rapping on the school bus with my homie Mikey, dude. I used to grab Scotch tape and tape up all my regular tapes that my parents would buy me and shit. And that was the old school way of burning over tapes. Is you tape a little open hole over the tapes. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, like that's how you burnt over real tapes, and so you could record over them. So I used to record like radio shows, and like just basically like my favorite songs off the radio, and then me and my homie would rap over them. And that was how it all started. And then it got into like middle school and high school where we just fucking started messing around and kind of like writing raps, but it wasn't nothing serious. And then started freestyling in high school. Long story short, formed a little group, Categorical, which I got tatted on my arm.
Which consists of you,
me and two homies, me, Mikey and Shane, or me, Mikey, and Encryption, man. And like that lasted for a while, dude. But you know, just creative differences, and everybody was in different locations, and that kind of stopped. So that kind of burnt out. Around 2005, 2006, yeah. And then I moved back up to the Bay Area, moved into Oakland, met Drendo, met Gigio. We started making some music together, and eventually started Associated Fresh, working on some music together. And then Chris came along, Fluent, and yeah, man, the music kept on going, basically.
Man, so I mean, what was it like to first fall in love with hip hop, you know?
Honestly, it was it's kind of like a spiritual thing, man, honestly, because the first time I heard like great hip hop that actually challenged me, might sound cliche coming from the Bay, but man, it was like High Road for real. And before that, it was like Jurassic 5, man. Like I was listening to like whatever I could get my hands on, but at the time I wasn't really digging, I should say. And one of my homies in Santa Cruz shot me Jurassic 5, man, and that really opened my eyes. And the same homie shot me 93 Till Infinity. Mm-hmm. And when I heard 93 Till Infinity, actually, I didn't like it. Like the first time I heard it, actually, it like challenged me to. I wasn't used to it, basically. That whole sound and rhyme structures, like I didn't like it, but I kept listening to it because I didn't like it, and it grew on me to the point where it just changed my whole perspective on music. And that's kind of when I really fell in love with hip hop, which is crazy.
you know, 'cause I know you're talking about, we're talking about those kind of sounds and styles that we're emulating, you know, that you're emulating, you know, particularly in writing. You know what I'm saying? What is like, I mean, you know, because you know, if you listen to a all key verse, you know, it's always unique, you know, especially in the styling and the cadence, man, and it always stands out on its own. I mean, what are some of the things that you like to throw in, you know, the different curves or whatever, like, you know, what's your whole approach when it comes to writing or flowing?
Honestly, I started writing pretty young, but I never used to actually recite that shit in public or even record it because I felt like it was just too weird. And it really was, man. Like, if I was to recite to you some of my, like, my first raps, I think, like, any rapper would honestly agree, like, if they were to recite you some of their first ass shit, like, it was way too complicated and way too, you know, it was just, like, word for word emulating, like, their favorite MC, you know?
Yeah.
Which is,
It's how we learn.
it's a given. Exactly, it's a given. It's how we learn. But, honestly, I mean, I guess for me, it was just all Bay Area rappers. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to everybody on the radio, and back when I was listening to the radio, it was Digital Underground, E40, Tupac, fucking High Road, everybody. Like, it was really an eclectic group of musicians that was naturally being promoted on the radio for the good of the people, but obviously also for the good of promotion of music for them too. So it was kind of crazy, but for me, doing music was always just expression of self, and so like I'm a very moody, weird ass person. Like I write very awkward rhyme structures, and like sometimes I lose focus, but I just roll with it. So my lyrics are always all over the place, man. But those very few times where I catch focus, you know, like I do write some dope shit, I guess. That's what people tell me, and like, man, I appreciate that shit. Like that's dope too. But I know like I'm very loose-minded too, and that's what I'm trying to get better at. You know, trying to get my own shit together.
Well, hell yeah, man. You know, every time you put your mind to something, it always comes out, you know, solid. You know what I mean? So definitely do that. And I mean, you know, we already know that you're heavy on the production game, and you know, you're quite the musician. You know, as a hip hop producer, you know, I know you sample heavy, and
Definitely.
that's been like a big base of your work, man. I mean, what are some sampling do's and don'ts for you?
Sampling do's, man. To me, a sampling do for sure off top is never sample longer than 4 bars. But I've been accused of sampling more than 4 bars for sure. But my rule of thumb when I first started was never sample more than 4 bars. And actually, as a challenge, when I first started out, it was to always sample actually chops, like sample notes, and really just listen to the. You know, my first rule of music was to just actually listen to it and find something that you liked. Not to find the most popular break of a song. It was just really to listen to the music and listen to what spoke to you, man, and sample that part and work with it. Another sample do is don't do what everybody else is doing. Like don't go through whosampled.com and look up Madlib's fucking archive or J Dilla's archive and then find out what artists they sampled and go sample those artists. That's fucking bullshit to me. Another sample do is basically if you have the financial backing or if you just have the spine to go invest in vinyl, you know. I won't lie, I've sampled off the internet too, you know, and I know a few people that have done that. But if you can, you know, support the art, support the real artists. I mean, you know, another sample do is if you can, this is a new goal of mine, is to, if you really respect the artist and you respect where they came from, you know, I'm actually gonna try and start contacting these people, man. These are real people that we're sampling, dude. These are real people that took the time to create the music, make the music, record the music, and give it to us. And I feel like it's our duty to acknowledge them greater than the fact of just sampling them, but also like it's a phone call away. You could really just call these people and be like, hey man, like do you own the rights to these songs? Can I use this song? Do you not own the rights to this song? Who, you know, like, I mean, it's simple shit. That's future goal. Sample don'ts. Don't sample 16 bars. That shit is whack. Sample don't. Don't sample shit that Madlib and J Dilla sampled. Sample
or maybe don't sample the same exact part.
Part. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Maybe
too.
if you take another part of the same song, then it might, you know, it could be cool. But I feel you though.
Or on another facet of that same little argument, like just don't sample stuff that other famous producers have sampled, and
just to be
and
cool.
not yeah, exactly, to be cool and not do anything that's original. And call it an ode or something like that, like you're actually trying to pay homage to them, because you're really not, man. It's like if you do your history of music, you know, the most successful or the most integral artists that live within hip-hop, man, have never done that. You know, it's they pay homage a different way, you know. It's more creative and more original. Another sample don't, man, don't disrespect the artist that you sample.
Oh, well, like, what you mean, like don't talk shit, don't diss them, or just?
Well, like just, I guess in a way, just don't take advantage of them, dude. Don't take advantage of their music, man. I know producers that'll just like sample an artist like whole album. And that's not just really disrespectful, but if you make your own album off samples that was made from their whole album, that's disrespectful, dude, to me. You know. But yeah, there's a couple.
What's been your favorite music? Because I know you like to take, you know what I'm saying, you dig into music from all over the world, you know.
My favorite music
To mess with, or even just to, you know what I'm saying, marinate on.
Lately, honestly, man, it's been like South Asian, like funk, dude, which is really weird to say with a straight face, because when you say South Asian funk, obviously it was built from American funk and soul. That was passed down to Asia. But I just like their take on it. I like the instrumentation they use, and I like their renditions of American funk and soul songs, man. I like it, and it speaks to me. I mean, my ancestry is in South Asia, man. I'm half Vietnamese, part Filipino too. So you know, like it's just
ask you about that too.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, like that's a big part of it too. You know, like I've sampled a lot of Vietnamese music and Filipino music.
You put me on Joe Baton too, and that's, you know, I gotta thank you for that, because putting me onto that man's music definitely
Joe
made
Baton,
my life
man.
cooler, you know.
I love that dude and what he stood for. You know, he was actually a great man, dude. He grew up in the hoods, you know, ended up in jail, got out, and actually changed his life around in the right way, dude. He actually, when he came out, he actually decided that he wanted to make his life about music, and actually rounded up youth in his neighborhood and formed a band. And that was actually the first band that he had, was like formed from like teenagers in his hood. And he gave them a positive outlook on life and said, I mean, it was kind of like manipulative, but at the same time in a beneficial way to them. He said, instead of staying in the streets, you can learn music with me. And he basically gave them each an instrument and said, learn this instrument. And on top of that, he said, if you learn this instrument well enough, you will be successful. And he gave them a purpose, you know, and he gave them a goal to look forward to, and they actually succeeded, you know. Like, some of his first recordings was actually done in a fucking garage and shit with a bunch of teenagers, and he was like 19 or 20 himself, man, recording these songs with like young ass kids that ended up being monumental recordings. And actually, he was the founder of South Soul Records, which eventually got bought out by the homie. I don't even want to mention his name, but like the person that invested in it with him, Joe Baton, was actually the founder of South Soul Records, which is huge for the Hispanic Latino community in New York. And that's kind of a shame, but Joe Baton, big ups to him.
Half Filipino brother like yourself.
Half Filipino, man.
OG,
half Filipino.
Half Filipino.
Yeah, Joe Baton is the shit.
Yeah,
Man.
Filipinos definitely, you know, been putting it down in hip hop and I mean in music too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you
For a
know what I'm saying?
long time.
Filipinos out here in America have been, you know, contributing to funk and soul music and hip hop and, you know, b-boying, DJing, MCing, and you're the perfect, you know what I'm saying, example of that, you know.
Honestly, I never knew DJ Q-Bert was Filipino until I looked that shit up. That shit was amazing to me because that's like by far one of the most monumental DJs ever to hit music. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I have a lot of love for my heritage, but I also feel like I'm not limited by that too.
Exactly,
you know?
And that's one thing that was cool about Associated Fresh was, you know, it was 4 of us and we're all from different backgrounds, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, shout out to Drendo.
He's the other half Filipino.
He's British and Filipino and shit. And Chris, man, my fucking homie, dude. Fucking Gigio, Nicaraguan and Puerto Rican. Then you got me, dude. Fucking Vietnamese, Filipino, Hawaiian, dude. Like, it really was Associated Fresh, man. Like, that shit was
bringing all the flavors and shit, you know.
It's ill.
So, I mean, you know, that's one thing that we definitely been building on, and you know what I'm saying, is not to be not to shackle ourselves down to, you know, these things that the Matrix gave us and all that, man.
For sure.
And man, you know, shit, you know what I'm saying? You come from a strong background, man. I've had the privilege of meeting some of your family members, man, and you know, they've all been very, in my, you know, from where I'm speaking and shit, you know, they've all been very bold and very strong people, man, and you know.
I'm very grateful for my family, man. My dad was actually born in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and actually my blood grandfather, his father died in the Vietnam War, and my grandma had to remarry. She married a GI, and they moved to Okinawa for like a year, and then they came to the States, and that's the only grandfather I know. You know, he's white, but that's the only grandfather I know, man. That's my blood. Like, I don't care what color he is. That man raised me too. He raised my father, and I got love for him. But it was crazy, you know, like just from my dad. Like, he told me a lot of stories about growing up. When they first moved over here from Okinawa, he lived in Indiana. Then he moved to, you know, San Francisco down to Santa Cruz, which eventually he raised me at. And my mom is from Oakland, actually, man. She was born in Oakland. And my grandma is the one, dude. She's Cherokee, Hawaiian, and Filipino. And my grandpa was born in the Philippines. He came over here on the boats, and he's half Filipino, half Chinese. And so I got like a very crazy background, but for sure, you know, they always raised me to be open-minded. Like my dad, like I said, he was born in Vietnam, dude. But growing up, vivid memories of when I was like 5 or 6, eating dinner. And he used to blast Elvis Presley and George Strait and Garth Brooks during dinner, man. Fucking 100% Vietnamese dude. Like, this is, you know, that's my youth. Like, that was part of my youth, you know. And then my mom's bumping like Zeppelin and fucking Stones and like traditional Hawaiian music and Filipino music. So it was like, it was a weird background as far as music goes, but that really raised me who I was to be, you know? Like, I mean, just knowing the fact that my dad was not from America and never listened to this music, but he loved. My dad is a diehard Elvis Presley fan, and I'll never understand it till this day.
Didn't you get into it recently with him? You tried to tell him like, hey, you know, Elvis is alright, but
yeah. He won't let it go though.
You know, you've definitely been walking this path. You know, this path. Not a lot of, you know what I'm saying, young people, you know what I'm saying, they're scared to walk down it, man. And I know you've stayed true to, you know, to your ticks and your talks, and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, man. I admire that personally. You know what I mean? You know, it's been good for me. I mean, one, you know, I want to say that on the music shit, you know, I've definitely, you know, linking up with you has definitely been a pinnacle point in, you know, my growth as an artist. And, you know what I'm saying, soak up a lot of game from you, but then also, you know what I'm saying, from man to man, you know, shit, you know what I'm saying, you a bold dude, man, and, you know, what's one of the greatest things that you learned on this path of yours?
Honestly, I gotta say the biggest thing I learned was to just trust yourself, man. Like, it's crazy. It's like the most cliche thing to say as far as like artists go. And when I say artists, I mean like visual art, performing art, you know, digital art. I don't care really what type of art you're doing. Anytime you tell your parents when you're growing up as a little kid, I want to be an artist, dude. That's the first profession I feel that parents will always shut down, because it's considered a dream. It's considered impossible, and it's considered a rare opportunity that only the few are able to obtain. And at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's the best thing that a young child could do if they really want to be a part of art. Like, I feel like any child really can do it if they want to do it, but they have to believe in themselves, and they have to be able to to really just like fight against the bullshit, dude. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, but art is one of those things where people is just like it's brushed off as a pastime. It's brushed off as a youthful hobby. And if you really want to do it and you're true to it, and not everybody's meant for it, unfortunately.
That's a secret.
That's a secret, but it's the truth. And I want to say that is like, a lot of people try and do it, and I got love for you, but not everybody's meant for it, unfortunately. And but you guys also actually help the art, and you actually are the ones who keep it alive, no doubt. But the ones that actually have the talent and the drive to make it, you just have to believe in yourself, man, because I've been doing this shit for a long time. And I've been doing this shit for sure since I was like 16, going hard, making beats. Rapping, dude, for sure since I was like 10. But we all know, as of right now, I represent myself as a producer, man. And I gotta say, when I first started, my shit was bullshit. Straight up, dude. If you would've heard my beats back in the day, you'd have been like, that's cool, and then you would've went home and said, that fool's shit is whack as fuck. But I don't care, dude. Like, I really didn't care, because to me, it was dope as fuck. And it just got to the point where what I was thinking manifested, dude, and like, my shit was dope as fuck. And people were telling me that shit, and I was like, I didn't even believe them, because I was like, now you're just fucking like stroking my ego. I was like, that's just bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. And then it got to the point where 10 years down the line, I had somebody who I used to listen to and somebody who I really respected, you know, listen to my shit, and I got to send them beats, man. and it just changed my whole perspective on music. You know, like it made me believe in myself, and that's what I'm saying is like if you really believe in yourself and you keep pushing and you have the talent, it will happen. But unfortunately, it's not for everybody, dude. You know, like I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it ain't for everybody. But if you believe in it, man, you could, like Slug said back in that song, like, you know, he's like, if I wasn't part of the happening, I'd be, you know, making what's happening. You know, it's basically promoting what's happening. Is because like if you really truly love this art, man, like you really will support it in any way you can. But I was fortunate enough to make beats and people like it, so that's cool.
Shit, that's what's up. You know,
I got love for everybody that loves my beats, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's for sure.
Definitely got some heat out there. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to get up on. You know.
Man,
all the stuff that you've been a part of. You know what I mean? From Fresh Produce to all the artists you've produced for. Man, you care to share some of that, where they might be able to hear some of those beats floating around on other people's shit, cause you know.
Man, mostly Bay Area artists for sure, cause that's where I got love for. But man, you can go to like SoundCloud.com/allkey, and you got a little like mini archive. Then you got AssociatedFresh.com or AssociatedFresh.bandcamp.
Both, yeah.
You got Grandsons.bandcamp. You got Gigio.bandcamp for sure. I worked with that homie for a long time. He already knows.
We got stuff in the cuts too.
Yeah, some shit unreleased. I work on some stuff with Lee Band. I call him Google A, but whatever, man. Lee Band, the champion, you know. It's all good. But worked on some stuff with members of Board Stiff, like Crypto, White Mike, you know, Mint Rock. Shout out to all those cats. They're dope as fuck, dude. Worked on stuff with Elronius, you know. Shout out to Elronius, dude. Check out the notes of The Righteous Outlaw. I got a track on there called Gas.
Spank Pops is on that too.
Yep, Spank Pops. Shout out to Spank Pops and the Dr. J, his producer DJ. That dude's dope. And just other cats from the Bay, man. Like I got unreleased tracks that people would trip out if they heard, man. Really,
Some of the best shit, man. You know, all your beats are like stories, man. I want to make that out. You know, you give every beat is like a life, and it's like a story from start to finish. You know.
Sure, right on, man. Like we got the homie that's in the cuts over here. I'll say his name's PL, and I got love for him. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. Like I don't really like dropping names like that. But like, you know, it's just like it's crazy. Like I've been working with fools that's really like really dope to me, man. And it's a pivotal point in my life. But at the same time, I'm an old ass man. Like my homie Gigio, man. That's why I love your lyrics, man. Like young ass old man. I mean, really, that's how I felt for a long time, you know. And it's all kind of manifesting, man. But most of the people I work with is Bay Area rappers, you know. Doesn't mean I'm not open to work with other rappers, but I work with people that I listen to, you know. And it's easy to come out to shows in the Bay Area. You just gotta be here. So,
well, shit. One last question here, man. You know, where would you like hip hop to take you, or maybe I should say, where would you like to take hip hop?
Where would I love hip hop to take me? Honestly, if it was possible, man, and I was able to work with people that could bring me overseas, like honestly anywhere, man, like overseas anywhere, and maybe not even overseas. You know, maybe just down like South America. I don't give a damn. We're up north, Canada, and you know I have been there, but not really for music yet. But or just wherever, man. Honestly, like if music could bring me anywhere, I would be more than willing to go, and more than willing to be involved in whatever they were trying to promote, because if they like my music, then we have similar interests. I would hope so. And what would I like to get from music, I guess, or from hip hop, man? It's just, you know, hip hop has always been about dialogue, and I feel like it's missing in modern music is like a healthy dialogue, not battle rap, not hateful rap, but a healthy dialogue, meaning like if somebody poses a question, you don't try and answer it. You hit us with a deeper question. You know, it's just like too many people are trying to compete for a position that has never existed. There is no number one. There's the top 5 of any given era, and that's the thing is people are all trying to compete, man. Healthfully, you know, some of them are competing with a good intention, but the majority of them are competing with intentions of being better than another person. And that's, to me, the essence of real music. And I'm not talking about rap, I'm talking about real music. The intention of real music is to question, well, actually not to question, but to make somebody else question themselves, to make them search deeper, and to make them really just think, man. It's life has always been a question, man. Like, I don't know one person in my life, dude, that has ever asked himself, that has never asked himself a question, dude. Like, everybody wants to question themselves about anything. It's like stupid shit, dude, stupid ass shit. But it's all relevant. It really is. And when you're talking about music, like, the only reason people like music is because real musicians fucking put everything that you've thought about when you're not talking to nobody, when you're at home with some fucking snot ass tissue in your nose and you fucking bawling out and nobody knows why the fuck you ain't talked to them in 3 days, if you're, you know, if that's the type of person you are, or if you just fucking angry at everybody and you're fucking pacing around, and the last time you talked to your best homie, you got in an argument with him about some bullshit, and you ain't talking to that fool no more, or even the dude that's just happy all the time, go lucky, and he's happy around all his friends, but in the meantime, he's actually the saddest person on earth. Like, everybody I know has questions about life, man. And that's what the greatest musicians do in the world is they pose all those questions in the form of song. And you can listen to that shit and be like, I relate to that shit. And really, that's what I like to receive from music is like, I search for musicians who give me that same feeling. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't even matter what genre of music it is. It doesn't matter what fucking time frame it was made in. Like, I listen to some music, I don't understand a word of what they're saying, but I just hear the emotion, and maybe they're saying fuck you. But I don't give a damn, it sounded beautiful. But yeah.
Hell yeah. Right on, Jaymar. All key, man. You know, any last words for the people out there?
Yeah, man. Honestly, peace, man. Peace to the homies Shane and Mikey from Categorical. You know who you are. You're the one that started the shit. Peace to Justine. She's the homie, man. She supported me for a long time.
Yeah. Cheers, Jaymar for shit. You feel me? Heard it here though.
Yeah. Peace to Associated Fresh, Gigio, Drando, fucking Fluent. Y'all, my heart, and you know that, man. Like, we grew a lot together, and it really was a melding of the minds, man. And like, we still have a lot of great music to make with each other, man. It's crazy. Like, we're all fucking struggling, but we all gotta fucking keep it lit, dude.
Yeah.
But shout out to the whole Bay Area, man. Like, there's a lot of musicians who I got love for, man, that are doing it in the Bay. And no matter where I go, I always got love for Bay Area music because I feel like we were always the most underappreciated and overlooked. and basically the most prolific, to be honest, dude. Like we just speak our minds, and I feel like we're always fucking overlooked. But shout out to everybody, man. I got love for a lot of folks, man. Board Stiff and fucking High Row.
Right on, Jaymar.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. You know, we had to like hold you down, get you drunk.
Yeah, I'm halfway drunk right
make
now.
you do this shit, but this is really dope, man. And, you know what I'm saying? Rebels and Poets TV. We out here, baby.
Yeah, shout out to Gigio, man. Born on a winter morning, torn from my slumber, snoring, only to arise, eyes wide open to flourish. Now any instant I could fall victim to circumstance or some encourage, endure it, release endorphins, immortalize positivity, and learn from that. Well, baby, I chose the latter. Young lad, I know the feeling. Sweet ladies, dismiss the chatter. Oh, folks, believe the children of my generation lost. Overpopulated, sex crazed, visionless slaves of images and identities, undetermined entities. I entertained the thought momentarily. Then I came to. I swing off the beaten path, indelible posts, make moves based on awareness, instinct supplies it. Follow up, never careless, reinforce my guidance. So may I be the push while they kicking us down towards regaining our balance, firm, standing our ground. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Jameezy, all key, rare form. We out here.
What's up? Shit. Associated Fresh, biatch. Well, how you doing? Excuse the name game, but I met a lot of people through the movement, and many faltered while the few still grooving. I guess things happen, but yeah, I'm still rapping, weaving the fabric of my mind with my passion, burning superb herb on the curb while the waves swallow the chaos of the world. And nah, I haven't met that special girl to curl my toes with.